Hello and welcome to this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Ochsner. Thanks for joining us. We're focusing on stories from Pfizer Animal Health and how Pfizer products can protect the health and productivity of your livestock. Let's take a look. Cattle producers make every effort to avoid losses in their operation. Diseases within a cattle population represent lost productivity and increased labor, and the financial impact can be devastating. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter introduces us to a Texas cow-calf producer who believes a sound reproductive vaccination program is key to his ranch's success.
Roy Russell has one main objective for his cow-calf operation near Aspermont, Texas.
Our ultimate goal is a good uniform set of calves. That's what it all boils down to. If everything's working right, I'm going to turn out a nice set of calves that all match up.
Although Roy hasn't been a rancher his whole life, he's very familiar with the cattle business, having worked as a county extension agent for several years.
But extension, I was in there for 10 years and was a county extension agent for agriculture specifically, so that entails all areas of agriculture depending on the county you were at. The cattle have always been something of interest that I really had got a lot of enjoyment out of the cattle industry, and as a county agent conducted a tremendous amount of educational programs specifically for beef cattle.
It doesn't take long after you get to talking to Roy to know that he's very passionate about his operation, his herd.
All of the hard work of a cow-calf operator like Roy can be quickly undone without ongoing reproductive disease protection. Producers should use a vaccine that helps defend against the main causes of reproductive failure like IBR, BVD, and leptoharjobovis.
Reproductive health management involves a lot of things, primarily nutrition, but also there's some interventions that we can do, such as reproductive vaccines that can improve reproductive performance. Generally, we consider a good vaccination program just like we would consider an insurance program. It's something that we need to do to prevent the potential losses that can occur.
Reproductive diseases in general can be economically devastating to a herd if they have a severe outbreak, and it could be something that could take years to improve the status of the herd or years to overcome the economic losses sustained from a reproductive disease. And the easiest way to avoid all of that is with the adequate vaccination protocol.
Although ranchers may not perceive leptoharjobovis as a problem on their operations, research has shown that 42% of tested herds were infected.
Harjobovis is the #1 cause of leptospirosis in the United States. A lot of people don't realize that. They think maybe other serovars are more important, but Harjobovis is the #1 lepto in the United States. Leptoharjobovis can cause considerable damage. It can cause reproductive loss from infertility. It can cause stillbirths, weak calves, and it can be an economic loss in beef herds in many parts of the United States.
Lepto's a little bit different than some of the other diseases. The Harjobovis a lot of times can just be an insidious infection in the herd. The producer may not know that he has a problem, and it can kind of go through the herd and cause reproductive losses and infertility problems within the herd. And the other thing with Harjobovis is a lot of times it's difficult to diagnose. If you protect yourself up front and avoid Harjobovis infection within the herd, then you're a lot better off.
Welcome back. Let's return to reporter Brian Baxter, who's learning more about ways to avoid potential reproductive losses.
Choosing the best vaccination protocol to help protect reproductive health requires careful consideration. Producers should work with their local veterinarian to establish a prevention program that's designed to meet their herd's individual needs and uses demonstrated effective products that protect through the management period.
One of the most important decisions that a producer can make is to involve their veterinarian in the construction of their health program. And the most important part of that health program may be the reproductive health. One size does not fit all in terms of vaccination programs. It really needs to be tailored for that operation, for the resources, both people resources and the forage resources and all the management resources that are involved.
The first thing I like to do is just sit down with the producer and go over the vaccines that we're going to use, go over the diseases that we're going to be protecting against, and make sure they're familiar with what we're trying to do and make sure they understand the goals of the program. And then we formulate the program specifically and individually to that producer.
Roy trusts Bovi-Shield Gold FP5L5HB from Pfizer Animal Health to help protect his cattle against the complete range of diseases that can cause reproductive losses, including leptoharjobovis.
Bovi-Shield Gold helps protect against the viral pathogens, BVD type 1, BVD type 2, and IBR, as well as leptoharjobovis.
We've been using the product and know it works. This will be our second year to use it. Dr. Gober definitely, made those recommendations to me, besides other people that I listen to in the cow-calf industry also using that, so it made it an easy choice. And to this point, I've had zero problems.
I think when you look at the research and the data supporting the vaccine, look at the field trials that are done, and the information available on the efficacy of the vaccine, you can recommend it with confidence and know that your herd's protected.
Not all vaccines are created equal or offer reproductive duration of immunity. Bovi-Shield Gold FP5L5HB helps protect against 5 major viral pathogens and offers at least 365 days of protection from leptoharjobovis.
Bovi-Shield Gold HB offers 365 days protection against BVD type 1 and 2, IBR abortions, leptoharjobovis infection, urinary shedding, and kidney colonization.
When we give that shot, I don't worry about my cow herd besides worming them the rest of the year. I mean, granted, we're going to look at them and look at body condition scores and see how we're doing according to rainfall and how our grasses are doing and how everything is working there. But from a vaccination standpoint, I don't worry about it anymore. I mean, it's good insurance, and I know they'll stand behind their product. But luckily, I haven't had to ask them to stand behind any of their products because everything I've used has worked, and we've had zero problems. And feel very comfortable about that and secure in it. Takes a lot of stress off of you.
In addition to standing behind the performance and protection of their products, Pfizer Animal Health also backs their reproductive vaccines with risk-free guarantees.
Pfizer Animal Health will guarantee 100% of calves to be born BVD PI free, provided cows or heifers were vaccinated at least 30 days prior to breeding according to label directions. With Bovi-Shield Gold FP, Bovi-Shield Gold HB, PregGuard Gold FP, or Cattle Master Gold FP. In addition to the BVD PI free guarantee, Pfizer will guarantee herds to be free of IBR abortions, provided they are vaccinated according to label at least 30 days pre-breeding with one of the Pfizer line of fetal protection vaccines.
The bottom line is there's value in using a product that helps protect cattle against a variety of pathogens, and no matter what the market looks like, that can make a big difference.
Regardless of the size of your operation, reproductive disease can cause serious economic losses that can impact your bottom line. And the implementation of a sound reproductive vaccination program is critical to having optimal reproductive performance in your herd.
We've had zero problems, and I mean, that's what it boils down to. The more problems we have, the more time I'm having to spend getting sick cows up or gathering. And I mean, that adds up. And a small producer, every little bit counts. It doesn't take long to justify the vaccines and what you need to use to make sure you don't have those problems.
That's a sentiment most cow-calf producers would agree with. Reporting from Aspermont, Texas, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about Bovi-Shield Gold HB or any of Pfizer's other products, just log on to our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.